Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back for another Chainsaw Man chapter, and this one is just wild, in my opinion. One of the best we've gotten in a long time. Sort of subverting every single expectation I had. I sort of predicted that we would be like fighting this chapter. The weapons devils would actually go in on their plan, but we sort of pause on that to see a new character, or I guess a recurring character who is probably the GOAT in my opinion, but the pace is definitely picking up a lot more than it was before, and I think we're actually going to have some actual actions being taken. But we have chapter 143 titled Rar, and pretty good chapter. Just wait for the title name to come in later. But we have the Spirit Devil, and he's talking about all of their plans, I guess. He's sitting there smoking a cigarette listen, kids, our orders are to make sure all these people start screaming as loud as they can. We'll target women and children. They got the highest voices. They better screams. And he's like, my suggestions, go for the legs. And he's just like super nonchalant about all this stuff. Like, he shows no emotion. This guy is like clearly like by the book type of guy. Like, he's a full like rule follower sort of person, I guess. He's very like authoritative. I don't know if that's the right word, but he seems to be taking the leader role of this. At least he's explaining all like their things that are going on, and he might not be the oldest, but he for sure is the one who's taking the most charge here. So I'm not really sure what his deal is, and we don't get to see much of his personality besides, he's just giving orders, and he's telling them like go for the limbs, so the sense of loss is like immediately like shown. And obviously this stuff is like dark, but they are weapons. Like, they're not really shy about violence. Like, they even say it later, like, I'm a weapon, I'm meant to hurt people and stuff. Like, they talked about it a few chapters before. But Sugo, he is very like nervous this entire chapter, and when the spearman, he's talking about like severing the limbs, Sugo's like, the limbs? Like, huh? And he's always got like sweat running down his face. He looks very nervous this chapter because it seems like he doesn't want to do this. And then we have the whip girl. I guess we should call her the whip woman, but she's like, did you just call me a child? And then she says like, I'll be 82 this year. Show me some respect. And like, what? And this sort of like confirms, because she sort of gives a little bit of her backstory, and this sort of confirms that like weapons, humans, hybrid humans, they're like basically immortal. I mean, Kishibe said it, I guess, like in part one, how like Denji was like basically immortal. All they need is blood, and they can probably heal back from any injury, really, besides like, I guess, getting their like devil heart ripped out, like Pochita ripped out of Denji would probably kill him in a way sometime. I don't know. But either way, she's talking about like, I am no old hag, not yet, because Sugo sort of makes fun of her and stuff. So she continues to say like, I'm eternally young. Like, I'm tough as shit and I will never die, basically. And I guess, yes, this confirms that the weapons, hybrids, humans, things, I don't really know the full like complete name. I guess I was calling weapon hybrids, but they're like really strong and I guess immortal in a way, because she talks about how she's a superior human specimen and she believes she was chosen by God. So this brings up another thing, I guess, from like earlier in this part, where like before, where they're talking about they were like chosen by God, or it's God's will and stuff like that, where we haven't heard much, I guess, like talk about religion in the story, like besides this Chainsaw Man like church thing. They got like a bunch of people who think that they're chosen by God, or like that there's a God or something out there. So maybe this whole thing will coalesce and like maybe there is like a god devil or something like that, or there's like a heaven, of course, like who knows. But either way, the spear devil, he's talking about how like fair enough, like that'd make our killing spree that we're about to do like a message from God. If you think like that way, you sound like a real true believer. He's basically talking about like, this is a message from God. And it doesn't really seem like he thinks that. Like, it seems like he's a very like logical guy, because it seems like for the first time he's sort of like smiling a little bit. He doesn't seem to, I guess, believe in this God stuff. I'm not sure, because at the end he says, I like the way you think. It makes you sound like a true believer. So maybe he is a true believer, and he's like, you guys are sort of starting to sound like, believers into the Chainsaw Man church stuff, which I'm just gonna guess it's just a bunch of crazy people at the end of the day. But their like mission begins at 5 o'clock, and we have the Spirit Devil talking about, wrap up the cigarettes, it's time. And the Whip Devil, she's like, what? Like, you're the only one who is smoking. Then we have Sugo, who we focus in on right before this attack happens, and he's like nervous watching the clock, and he sees this little kid like trip and fall in front of him and start crying, and he's like, I guess, watching him like, what the fuck? But he thinks like, this is a message from God. Like, you know, it's a message. I need to listen to it. Like, I am a weapon. I am only loaning my body out for just a little bit. Like, that's all I'm doing. I'm loaning my body out for a little bit because I am just a weapon. And I don't know if this is through like brainwashing or just like their collective idea, but they all like think that they are weapons in a way where like they're not humans, I guess. Where like, you know, they're meant to kill things. That's what they all think. But maybe they will change their idea or outlook sometime to think that, you know, I'm a human first, not a weapon. Because I think Sugo has like big like red flags for betraying the Chainsaw Man Church and maybe going to the other side. Because he's talking about like, I am a weapon. Maybe he'll turn around to say like, I am a human some other time. But either way, the clock is literally like a few seconds from striking 5. And we see Sugo, he's grabbing his arm, like about to like rip his like hand off to like activate, I guess, his powers. And it's oddly like the same thing that the Katana Man did, I'm pretty sure. He like popped off his hand where like there's like a little sword sticking out of it. But we see the Spearman and the Whip Girl, and we see the Spearman, he's like about to like, I think he's gonna pull his like spinal cord out, I think. And then we have the Whip Girl, and she's about to like snap, and she's like laughing like like maniacally a little bit, where like she's ready to do this, she's about to have fun. But right as we think that they're about to go transform in this epic scene, we get something a little akin to International Assassin's Arc, all of those dolls in Quan Chi's Blitz, because we see Quan Chi just blitz through all 3 of these guys, cut off the Whip and Spearman's like their body parts. Like the Whip Girl, her head gets cut off, her hand gets cut off, Sugo's leg gets cut off and he gets cut a little bit on the neck, and the Spear Devil, both of his legs get cut off and his arm gets cut off. But we have Quan Chi. She's standing there in this like dope ass pose. And of course we can tell it's Quan Chi. We can see the eye patch coming across her head. She's got her head down though. But then we see next panel, we see these motherfuckers get cut up even more. Like she cuts both Sugo and the Spearman's head off then. And just like to, I guess, complete the process of getting all 3 heads off. But at the exact moment that she cuts Sugo's head off, he like pulls his arm out to transform and I guess fully heals. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And right behind him, we see the Spearman. His like body is like fully like just chopped up. Both legs gone, one of his arms gone, and his head's just in the air falling. And I just love this. Like, what have I been saying? We're gonna finally get some like action shit coming back, and we get to see this just amazing scene where, I mean, I was not expecting this at all. Quan Chi just coming in like, she just destroying everybody. Like we see the Whip Devil's head fall on the ground. We see all these like body parts getting chopped up. And of course, it's Quan Chi at the end of the day. And we see her doing this cool ass pose, chopping Sugo's head and arms off. He doesn't even get a chance to fight back. None of them do. And she's just standing there with all these dead bodies around her, all these body parts laying around her. And they all look, all the hybrid devils, they look dead at this point. But this is where we get to see a little bit, I guess, of Quan Chi's new design. And her eye patch has like this like lace on it, I guess, and it like covers like more of her face, I think. Or I guess it'd be this side of her face. Also, if you guys are liking the Chainsaw Man content, want new chapter reviews each week, and maybe some more chapter reviews sprinkled in there, just please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And back to the video. And then she has like a choker, or maybe she has like a shirt that like goes up like to her neck more, that also looks like it has like lace on it or something. And I'm not fully sure if it's like a thing where it's just a new style thing, or it's to cover the scar or like the stitches from when Makima cut her head off, because she's still alive now, clearly. And this seems exactly like regular Quan Chi. She's completely stoic. She's like, I guess, badass as fuck, super strong. And we get this final, I guess, moment before, you know, she talks to other people, and she sees this dude like on the ground just staring at her, because he's like a civilian. He's like, what the fuck just happened? Like that was like a split second, a snap. But she looks down at him and she's like, rawr. And he runs away. And I guess that's where we get the title for the chapter. because Quan Chi is the GOAT, bro. She is my GOAT. I've been waiting to see her again, man. Now all we need to see is Reze. And I mean, I guess we can see the Katana Man too some other time, but fuck him, bro. He's a bum. I guess some people like the Katana Man, but he's just a bum, bro. He's boring. All he's got is sideburns, that's it. But we see Quan Chi. She's talking about like, I got them, like into like a walkie-talkie or something. And maybe I think it's public safety of the police, and they're talking about, okay, target suppression confirmed, prepare to send in Special Division 7, which is Fumiko's division, which I'm pretty sure it's Fumiko's division. But they're talking about wait 20 minutes after the media coverage comes out. So at the end of the day, this is like a thing to take down the Chainsaw Man Church, because public safety and the police, they're sort of working together at this point to take down the Chainsaw Man Church, because they pin this entire thing on Chainsaw Man Church like follower shooters, because like they're saying that they had guns in there. So we get to see the news, and they're talking about like this just in, multiple gunmen opened fire inside of the mall, and they were Chainsaw Man Church followers. And they're talking about how like the death toll's unknown, but the police and the devil hunters, public safety devil hunters. But then we cut to see the headquarters of the Chainsaw Man Church with the big Chainsaw Man head on it. And we see this old dude and the class president, and then Nobana in the background. But they're watching the news coverage, and this old dude, he's like, oh shit. Like, you know, they'll search the building and they'll find the weapons in the basement. We'll be like charged with treason or something. And the class president, he's like, weapons? Like, I was never told about this. And the old man's like, gather all the combat trained followers and put them outside the prayer room. And then the class pres, he's like, you know, explain what's going on here. Like, I have no clue what's going on. And this old dude, he has some weird words to say where I think this stuff is pretty dark in the Chainsaw Man Church. Because he says, I don't know a thing. Like, I never heard a word about it. Neither did you, like, founder. And he calls him the founder. I'm guessing he's calling the class president the founder of the Chainsaw Man Church, which maybe he is. It seems like the fake Chainsaw Man or Barim are sort of behind this, but I'm thinking they're trying to pin this on the kid because, you know, all the public, like, media and stuff like that, they all say this is a group of, like, kids. So maybe they're like, yeah, this kid is the leader, he's the founder, you know, we have nothing to do with this. But also a thing where this old dude's talking about weapons, and maybe this could be a thing where, like, some devil is in play, where, like, he's thinking about, you know, the weapons and stuff in the basement, and then his mind gets erased because some devil doesn't want him to do something. Like, I'm not completely sure, but, like, the first thing my mind does go to is that more weapons devils are in the basement, and they're trying to create more weapons devils, and that's why they're going to be charged with treason, because they're going to make like a whole army of these guys, which that would be fucking like just crazy. Like giving me like real like Chimera and Arc type vibes. We're just reproducing a bunch of these super strong soldiers and just getting a whole army of them, which, I mean, that could totally be a thing because, you know, we're seeing all these hybrid devils, or at least 4 of them all on the same side together. You know, Barim, the Spearman, the Whip Girl, and then Sugo. So we'll see where we go forward from this, because we are only missing 1, I guess 2. Because, like I said, fuck the Katana Man. Like, I don't care about him. I want to see Reze, bro. That's my girl, bro. I think almost everybody in the community wants to see Reze back, because like Quan Chi's back, and she got killed by Makima too. So we will see. And also when she was with Makima, we didn't see like that, like, I guess scarf or like choker thing around her neck, or that new eye patch. So I guess it sort of brings in the idea that she like was fully released from her mind control, and like she fully like wanted to, I guess, like get a new design maybe. Or maybe she's with Kishibe now and like wants to express more of her like feminine side. I'm not sure, because, you know, she stated before she likes girls. she is not interested in Kishibe at all, but like maybe now they're good friends or something like that. That's like the most likely thing, and I really cannot wait to see just more members of our old cast, because like after we saw like the weapons devils and the hybrids, that like opened up a huge door just to be able to see, I guess, more of the hybrids, because we have 3 more that we already knew about. And I guess we're seeing 1 more. maybe I already know what Fujimoto would do to us. He would reveal the Katana Man was working with like public safety too, and then we wouldn't see Reze like until like later, because he definitely is gonna tease us like that, man. Like I can't take it, man. Like I want to see Reze and Quan Chi fighting side to side, not being mind controlled and stuff like that. But either way, let me know what you guys thought about this one. Are we gonna get into that full, like, I guess, fight that we were talking about earlier, or is this all the violence we're getting for right now? I definitely think that we're gonna be going into, I guess, like a raid of the Chainsaw Man Church, because this old man's talking about like get all the combat ready folks, like ready to fight. So we might see like Quan Chi and maybe other devil hunters just blitzing through this building, killing all these kids, which that would be like, I mean, insanely dark, but like it's already shown that public safety or like the government or whatever is trying to like cover this thing up, because they're saying that they were like gunmen in this mall and not like, you know, actual weapons hybrids that just got completely massacred. Like nobody got killed there but those weapons hybrids, and I'm 100% sure they are not dead, at least yet. Like maybe they're gonna bring all their body parts back, like, and burn them and then make them dead forever. I'm not sure, but this is definitely like a big chapter. I mean, one of the biggest chapters, I guess, since the last one, because that last one was insanely huge, because we were like, you know, we're gonna start this fight, and now we're just like, let's completely turn everything on its head again and have, you know, Quan Chi come back, just massacre all these guys, and then have this raid on the Chainsaw Man Church where maybe we'll actually be able to see the fake Chainsaw Man in action for once. Like, that's still unanswered stuff that we need to see, like Fammy and all that stuff. Like, we just got to see what's going on here, and whether or not the devil hunters and public safety are on the right side or not, I guess we will see coming up. But I'm pretty sure Denji, he's just not even going to be part of this stuff for a little bit. Like, we didn't see him this chapter. I don't think we'll see him next chapter. But I mean, maybe we just cut to Asa. This is like such a tangent, but like maybe we cut to Asa next chapter, which would just be wild. And maybe people are coming after her. The devil hunters are coming after her and stuff. So we will definitely see next week, because we have no break. I forgot to mention that. No break. That's a huge W. I think we got 3 chapters in a row now, or 4. But thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please subscribe. I would very much so appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any theories of like what's going to happen next chapter or something, please just comment below. That would be appreciated. I usually reply to all of them. But thank you guys for watching, and peace.